I realised I couldn't actually start designing how I want to have an amazing year ahead until I actually establish what brings the joy and the magic. I just think for most of us, we don't actually know. And it's only when we stop and pay attention that we start to spot all these tiny little things that are happening every day that either bring us joy or move us away from joy. Hello everyone. I am so bloomin' excited right now because I am joined by somebody that I have known for many, many years now. And she's been a friend over the year, and we've met actually as well in New York one time. She's just an incredible person. It is the amazing Elizabeth Harper. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you.
I'm so excited too. Oh my goodness.
How many years ago now was it when we met up in New York?
Oh my goodness, I can't remember. You know, I came to your retreat in Nevada. Was it? Oh, California. It was in California.
Oh yeah, the Palm Springs.
That was so much fun. That was amazing to be with all those women, and it was just such a fabulous weekend.
That was fun, wasn't it? Casey was, I think he was like, I don't know, how old was he then? 2019 it was. So he was probably like 8-9 months old. No wonder it was such a blur for me.
That's it. It was just before COVID, wasn't it? Just before that happened. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was perfect.
So crazy. So for everyone listening, Elizabeth is an incredible person, and she works with the angels, and she helps people to kind of connect with their intuition and really connect with themselves. Feel free to expand on any of that, by the way.
All that stuff. It's kind of interesting because, well, it's interesting for me. I've been raised with this. So it's always been a part of my repertoire and my energy, who I am, even though I haven't always officially been an intuitive, let's say, or a clairvoyant or a healer. It's always been part of who I am. And I think that we often gravitate towards careers that reflect what's going on within us. I gravitated towards a career as a nurse because it helped me with healing. It helped me to bring in my healing skills. And then I started moving more into the intuition and clairvoyance and angels and color and all kinds of different things because they were a part of me, and it felt like I was walking the path of truth. You know, it's so important to connect to that truth within you and then allow that to guide you. And of course, we were talking before about how the world is shifting, how the world is changing with AI and all these different things that mean that our work and who we are, it's speeding up. Things are going so much faster. But when I was younger, we didn't have cell phones, so we didn't have the internet. We didn't have all these different tools that are available now. And it seemed like it was a simpler time, but it was certainly more challenging to connect with people, and it was more challenging to know what was available as well. And now there's so much that's available. There's so many opportunities, and we can really be guided by that part of us that is our truth, and that leads us towards what will support us, what will support our soul, what will support our light, what will support our purpose. And, you know, when I was younger, it was all in books. And now it's everything's available to us, and it's just so wonderful.
It's so interesting, and like listening to you talk about that and like how it's so important that we are guided by our truth. I think it's such a important thing, but also can be so difficult to do. And I feel like for me, the moment where I actually stepped into my truth and I let go of my imposter syndrome and all of the false beliefs I had around why I shouldn't follow what felt like the right path for me. When I surrendered that and I just allowed myself to kind of really lean into like essentially my truth, that's when like the pathway opened up. I didn't actually intend to ask you this question, but given that we're talking about this, like, do you have any thoughts or advice or anything that pops up for you in terms of, for those people that feel like they're on the cusp of their truth, they feel like they're dancing around the edges of it, but they haven't like fully let themselves fall into it. Or maybe they know that they're not living their truth, but they don't know what their truth is. Like, what can they do to connect with themselves, or what can they do to help illuminate that path for themselves, so they can like walk down it?
One of the things I did was I wrote down all the things I enjoyed doing, and everything that brought me joy, everything that made me happy. And then I started to look at that list and decided that what it was teaching. It was teaching and connecting to my intuition and sharing, healing, all these things that I love to do. So I think one thing is to make a list of all the things that you love, and then look at if you're actually bringing those into your life right now. And if you're not, to commit to yourself to bring at least one of those things into your life, so that then you get started on the path. Because sometimes when you look at everything on your list, you might think, whoa, this is overwhelming. But if you can just bring one thing in, then it can support you. And I think often we have so much going on in our lives and so much going on in our minds that we don't have the space for that. So sometimes it's nice to take some time to meditate. I know that this is one of the answers to everything for me. It's meditation. Let's meditate. But that meditation is just a moment in time where you're giving time for yourself, and you're going within and you're clearing your mind of all your to-do lists, and clearing your mind, of where you've been and where you're going. So you're just in the present moment. And that can help you. And you can ask that question when you go into meditation of, what is my truth? How can I navigate my truth? How can I connect to my truth? What's the first step that I need to take to support me? So just going into that meditation will help you with that.
Yeah, I believe that there's so much magic in meditation. And for me, when I like make time to meditate and visualize, like magic literally does start to happen. Like things open up, opportunities arise, people just pop up into my life, or something shows up, or clarity starts to come, and I'm like, huh. And then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've completely shifted. There's a visualization I've been listening to every day now for quite a while. It's Rebecca Campbell's one. It's called Attract Like a Flower. And it's such a lovely like visualization, but it's powerful. It's like you kind of get to imagine that you're a flower, that you just can completely open up and fully express yourself. Like there's no kind of competition. You're not competing against anyone. You're just completely embracing your own bloom and allowing yourself to bloom. And this whole thing of like allowing the bees to be attracted to you, and you don't have to do anything for them to be attracted. They just are attracted to you. And it's just such a really nice, powerful visualization. And when I'm doing the visualization, I just always imagine like opening up that space and like welcoming in all the things that are right for me and to attract. And I feel like such a shift in myself since doing that every day. And I've over the years like created my own visualizations and listened to them, and like listen to yours as well. And I just think there's just so much power in it when we tune in and do that work. It's amazing. Thanks for talking about that. I didn't intend to ask that question, but what I did want to ask you then, what I do want to talk to you about is 2024 and the energy of 2024, and what is kind of what you feel like is coming up for us all in 2024, and also looking at this year and like closing out this year, and in what looking at like, was there a connection between like what was coming up from like a numerology perspective, and how does that connect with like the way most people have been feeling this year, and then also looking at how can we raise our vibration as we go into 2024. At the beginning of this year, like what was coming up in terms of like the numbers for the year and all that kind of stuff, and like what was the general feeling for the year, and like how does all this work?
So first of all, when we think of numerology, we add the numbers of the year together. So 2023, it's 2 + 2 + 3. So that's a 7. So we think of this as a 7 year. But you can also look at those separate numbers of 2 and 3, and we call it 2023. So you look at that 20 energy and look at the 23 energy. So all of that together, if we think of the 7 to begin with, 7 we think of as a lucky number. So we might have thought of 7 as being a lucky year, but 7, for me personally, that 7 vibration can be about chaos. And the only reason it's chaos is because there's lots of movement, there's lots of change, there's lots of shifting, and it's trying to find the balance. And I feel like 2023, many of us have felt out of balance, that we haven't found that balance. There's often a resistance and a connection between the male and female. 3 is a female vibration, 4 is a masculine vibration. So when you bring those 2 together, you get 7. So there's the balance. So it's trying to find that balance between the male and female. So this year, there's been a lot of that going on, a lot of that vibration within the whole planet of women trying to find their place, men trying to find their place, the masculine within us, the feminine within us, the creative energy within us, the leadership energy within us. We're trying to find that place, all of us. And there's been a lot of resistance. There's been a lot of upset with that. And so it's been a difficult year for all of us. 20 is a number that is going to follow us for the next 70 plus years, right? 2023, 2024. So that 20 energy in the tarot is judgment. And you see somebody lifting up out of it's a mummy lifting up with taking off their bandages. Judgment, it's the last judgment. So it's that vibration of what have we done? Where have we come from? What are we giving to the next generation? And I think certainly in the West, we don't think about that. We don't think about what are we doing now that's going to support the next generation or that is going to harm the next generation. And I feel that 20 vibration is about us coming back into this feeling, this sense, this knowing that whatever we do is going to impact the generations ahead of us. And we need to start shifting our thoughts around that. And so I feel over this next 70 years that we're going to be doing that. We're going to be shifting our thoughts around how we impact everybody, the planet, everything. And of course, we've already seen that, with environmentalists, etc. That 23 vibration, to me, that is, again, about so much creativity that has been coming up over this year. And we were talking about AI, particularly, this is part of that 23 vibration, at least as far as I'm concerned, it is. And it's starting to come through, and it's going to come through even more, and it'll be part of our lives for, many years to come, obviously. So when we move into 2024, it becomes an 8 year. So that 7 of chaos and trying to find the masculine and feminine, 8 is that as above, so below. So there is a feeling with this that we're coming more into a place of balance. We're coming more into a place of power, because that 7 energy, it felt like we were struggling for power. And there's been a lot of power struggles around the planet with wars, etc. But that 8 energy, it's like there's a sense of there's energy above us, energy below us. And again, we're trying to find our place within it. But it feels almost like the image I have is like magnets. And when you see there's something like a flame or there's an energy in between, I can't remember what it is, but it's like the magnets in between there and you in between that. And it's like you're starting to find your groundedness. You're starting to find where you belong, your stability, your foundation. That's what it feels like the 8 energy is. 8 is a number of abundance. So when I tune into 2023, the color of it felt like violet. And violet, again, is transformation. When I tune into the energy of 2024, I can see green and yellow. And green is a color of abundance and wealth. but it's also the energy of balance again. It's coming into that place of balance. It's a color that's connected to the heart and expansion. So I feel with this that people are going to want to expand their reach. People are going to want to connect to others on a heart level with that green vibration. But with the yellow coming in, it's also about leadership and power and the quality of their leadership. That yellow is the intellect. The green is the heart. So there is a sense that over this next year as business people, for businesses particularly, that it's not just about connecting to people on the mind level or connecting to people just on the heart level, that there needs to be a balance between the two. So that we're bringing in the intellect, maybe that's the AI, or maybe it's something else, and bringing in the heart, which is our passion, our devotion, our connection to each other on that heart level. That 8 vibration, again, when I tune into it and feel into it, there is a sense of 8 is the number of Saturn, which is old man time. And so there's a feeling that we're going to start looking at our time and looking at where we put our time and how much time we have for ourselves and how much time we give to others. And how we give to others is through our businesses, through our personal relationships, through our connection to our communities, to the environment, etc. But it's giving to others plus that balance of giving to ourselves.
Sorry. I put my thing on Do Not Disturb.
I think that's perfect because it's saying that, all right, that's it, time up.
Yeah.
We've said enough.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Sorry about that.
No problem. I think it's just wonderful. It's perfect. It's perfect. And that's the thing, as above, so below. It's what's coming in. We're opening ourselves up to something new coming in. So you asked about how can we raise our vibration? So I feel that part of that raising your vibration is about honoring yourself and about honoring your intuition and honoring what is good for you. And, we discount it. And again, especially as business people, we tend to focus on other people and other things in our lives and not focus on ourselves. And there's always that idea that when you're on the airplane, everybody talks about this, when you're in the airplane and, there's an oxygen mask that is given to you, that you have to give it to yourself first, that oxygen to yourself for yourself, put the mask on yourself first before you put it on somebody else or help somebody else. And so I feel that over this next year, that's what we're going to be looking at too, is what is good for us, what is going to support us, what will help us be the people that can help others by helping ourselves first. And, one of my favorite sayings is we teach what we most need to learn. So it's really about teaching ourselves to care for ourselves so that then we can care for others in whatever capacity, whatever way we do that, however we channel that. So raising our vibration is looking after ourselves. And so maybe, again, I love lists. So it's write a list of 3 things that will support you, 3 things that really give you joy, 3 things that give energy back to you. And then make a commitment to at least one of those things every week to support you.
I'll start my list now. Going to the spa once a week, which I promised Elizabeth I was going to sign up for tomorrow. Doing some gardening and just playing with your kids count or
absolutely it does, because that brings you joy.
I love talking about this, and with the time thing, like I have really dialed this in lately, where I'm really looking at where my time's going. I actually time block on one calendar, and then I created a second calendar where I actually write down what I actually did in those time slots, like what I actually did throughout the day, and then how it made me feel. And at the end of the day in my calendar, I do a little review of the day and how I felt that day and what created certain feelings, so I could start to really tune in with why why do I, when I have a bad day or a frustrating day or an unfulfilled day, why do I have that? Because I caught myself where I would go home and Kellen would be like, how was your day? And I'll be like, oh, so frustrating, so draining. But I couldn't actually articulate why I felt that way. It was just all this stuff. And then if I, again, and I had a great day, I couldn't articulate why it was great. And I was like, I really need to start paying attention to what makes it good and what makes it not so good. And so I really started looking at my time and how I'm spending my time and what makes me feel fulfilled and accomplished and happy and brings joy, and what drains me and makes me feel frustrated or down and low, and really starting to like analyze it. And it's really interesting because I was like, I want to design my time in a way where most of the time, or most of my days, I'm really putting myself in a place where I'm doing things that really light me up and bring me like that joy. I get there's going to be challenges and frustrations, I get that, but I realized I couldn't actually start designing how I want, to have an amazing year ahead until I actually establish, well, what brings the joy and the magic. Because I just think for most of us, we don't actually know. Like, we just don't know what really truly brings it to us. And it's only when we stop and pay attention that we start to spot sometimes all these tiny little things that are happening every day that, that either bring us joy or move us away from joy. So it's been really powerful exercise. And I love what you said around, you raise your vibration by, really kind of nurturing, I suppose, yourself and coming back to yourself, tuning in with yourself. And I think, really kind of doing some deep work on that. But can I just say, I love that 2024 is the 8th year and a year of abundance and wealth. I mean, that means sure that sounds amazing for everyone.
Get cracking on all that kind of vibration for sure. But it's not, it's also, again, as above, so below, and there's that balance within this of you can't just sit back and wait for it to come.
When you say as above, so below, what does that actually practically mean?
So for me, that means that I need to focus on what it is that's going to support my life, what's going to bring more abundance into my life, what's going to bring more blessings in. Because when you were talking about all these different things that you love to do, and that you notice that as soon as you start to think about those things, that they come into your life, for me, those are blessings. So it's noticing all the blessings that are there. So when we connect to this as above, so below, to me, it is the mind and the body. So I think about where my thoughts are going, where my feelings are going, where my beliefs are going, and how that's impacting my life. So if I'm going to have the thought of abundance coming into my life, then I need to open my energy up to abundance and allow that to fill my whole being. How do I do that? By imagining myself in situations where abundance is prevalent in my energy, is around me, is with everybody that I'm connecting with. So everybody's abundant, and that abundance is becoming a part of my life as well. So then, as I'm thinking about that, as I'm creating that image, that vision, then it starts to filter through into my physical world, into my physical life, and into my reality. So it becomes part of my everyday existence. So that's how I see as above, so below, that it's a part of who I am because I'm creating that. And I'm focusing on something that is positive and something that can become part of my reality. I think that sometimes, especially around abundance and wealth, that we talk about all of this. If you feel that it can't become part of your reality, then it won't. It won't become part of your reality. There is a need to be open to it. There's a need to be open to the possibility of it becoming part of your life.
I think I'm in training for 2024 right now. I'm listening to a whole book on abundance. I'm sorting out my time. I'm like, I'm just in training for 2024.
I love that. I love that.
I think, though, when you were talking about that, it made me think about, again, the importance of taking that time for ourselves to have that space to connect, to journal, to think through how we're feeling, to connect with what thoughts are going on, what beliefs that might be getting in our way, what we think and feel when it comes to what we think is available for us, what we think is possible for us, what we think we're worthy of, and like trying to understand and dismantle things that aren't really serving us, and yeah, like really stepping into a place of being open to the experiences, to the opportunities, to the possibilities, to amazing things happening, and welcoming that in. I mean, I think that's why I really enjoy that visualization that I've been doing, because it is all about being available for what we came here for, what's ours, what we can experience and have. I think it's so powerful. It's really fascinating. I love listening to this, and I love for everyone listening. So Elizabeth comes, and I think the past few years now, you've done like a numerology prediction type thing for us over in the membership, which has always been so amazing. And it's my favorite one of all of the. Because I just really like this, and I think that sometimes we get so caught up, but it's nice to kind of take a step back and think about this bigger like dance of life, of like this, with like numerology and all these things that we sometimes can't even explain. But then, I don't know, like I even love looking at and thinking about, like the power of the moon and the way, and how that can actually impact us. And I love all these different things, and I love bringing that into business and looking at how do we work with that, how do we tune into our intuition, how do we kind of understand things that you wouldn't necessarily associate with business but are so powerful to help us in our quest to building amazing businesses and living amazing lives. So
I love that. It's magical.
So thank you for coming and sharing that. Any last words you want to share on 2024?
So let me just ask, you know what? It's kind of interesting because one of the things I love to connect with is the energy of angels. And I've got my angel paintings all over the place, that angelic vibration. And I keep feeling this energy of Archangel Raphael, and Raphael is a healing angel, and Archangel Michael, and Michael is a purpose angel. So part of this is maybe about healing your purpose, and again, coming into that place of recognizing that whatever your purpose is, now is the time. My husband always talks about, when's the best time to plant a tree? It's now or 20 years ago. And that's the thing, is when's the best time for you to follow your purpose and follow your heart? Now. It could have been 20 years ago, but it's really now to start following your passion. So we can call on, if this is your belief, and it doesn't have to be angel wings, etc. Just call on that energy, call on the universe, call on the divine, call on your angels, your guides, whatever your belief is, call on that essence to support you as you follow your heart and follow your purpose.
Yeah.
That's the message.
I love that. And it's so powerful. And for anyone that doesn't know this about me, if you've followed me in business and thought that I was really practical this whole time, let me tell you, I ask my angels for things, like, or talk to them, and all, like, practically every day. And when I wrote my book, I literally imagined a beam of light coming down and just getting these downloads from the universe and from my angels, like giving me what I needed. And I feel like I wrote my book through that, because when I tried to do it from my mind, oh my gosh, it was just terrible. But when I opened myself up and allowed it to flow through, it was magical. And I've always found that in business, when I put my kind of logical mind to one, I mean, there's a place for that too, don't get me wrong. I am also practical, but like the magical universal power energy, the divine energy, that is something that's just something else. And so powerful. I mean, like my dad's always been into this stuff, but like he, bought me cosmic ordering books as a teenager, and all, I mean, that's different, but all of that stuff. And I've always loved it. And I think it's such a nice, I just love having this conversation with you. And I think it's just a reminder for everyone of how powerful, that is when it comes to, building the business of our dreams and living the lives that we want. I think it's important to tune in to that side of things. So for any of you who thought that I was like not into that stuff, I'm sorry. I am. Thank you so much. You're so amazing. And I'm so grateful that you are here and that we've chatted about this. And it's been so nice to catch up with you. For everyone wanting to connect more and follow you, where can they come and find you?
My website, sealedwithlove.com.
Amazing. I'll put it in the show notes. So everyone go and check it out, especially if you are wanting to kind of like really tune in more with your own intuition and you want to learn more about angels and all that. Go and check it all out. She has amazing stuff over there. Elizabeth, thank you so much. You're so brilliant. And thank you for doing this episode with me. I've really loved it. And yes, we'll have to have you back to do more stuff in the future on, we can talk more about angels maybe next time.
Great.
Thank you so much. And I really hope you've all enjoyed listening to this episode. Let me know, drop me a comment, and I will see you next time for another episode of the She Means Business Show.